right, welcome back everybody to another edition of Run for Covers. This is the newer video series that I do where I talk about those run of like variant covers, just those cover runs, those sets, those theme month variants or whatever that Marvel and DC had sometimes decided to do to kind of like run through like a theme. And I like talking about these complete sets, complete runs of covers because, I don't know, I find it personally interesting. I like collecting such things, and the more information I can provide you, the better is the way I look at it as. Hopefully you're enjoying this series as well as all the other content here on the channel. If you are, please let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. If you're interested, go check out the merch down below. The links are there. You can check it out on Rennavision.com or on Rennavision on TeePublic. And there's a bunch of shirts covering Rennavision and Darkside that you could pick up if you so desire. Again, up to you. No pressure. No pressure. That being said, this week for Run for Covers, I felt like since it is Veterans Day coming up later in this week, why not let's look at Captain America. As you can see by my garb, by my little setup here, I'm all about Captain America this week. So it felt like, you know what? Let's look at the 1 in 50 cover run for his 75th anniversary and just go through the, I think it's like 11 covers and see what you guys think of those. And again, just hang on for 1 second after the intro and we'll be right back with this week's run of covers. Okay, so as I teased in the open, we are going to be looking at Captain America books. More specifically, the 75th anniversary Captain America books from 2016. So why aren't we getting 80th anniversary Captain America books this year? They're running out of time, Marvel. It's already November. Where are the 80th anniversary covers? I don't know. But that being said, 2016, 75th anniversary. Marvel has done these 1 in 50 incentive variants for a few titles. Not all of their titles, again. There's only 11 covers in this run, but they are still pretty interesting, and I figured, you know, worth looking at, especially this week with the Veterans Day on the horizon. We are going to start off our set here, our run of covers, with all new, all different Avengers, number 4. Again, if you don't know by looking at it, I can sometimes pick out artists just by looking at the cover, and this one is a Mark Brooks. This is a 1 in 50 Mark Brooks. You do that quick math of the 1 in 50. I'm only going to give you the incentive number here. About 1,100 copies of this, potentially. So you can guess it what the full print run of this of all new, all different Avengers book is. But 1,100 copies of this actual incentive variant. And it is pretty cool. I love him with the regular soldiers there. It looks like they're overseas there, maybe fighting through France. And definitely pretty cool. You can see the chainmail on his uniform is there to absorb the blows. And that's just that classic Cap look. And I do like Mark Brooks quite a lot. That being said, if you are curious about this book and you wanted to pick one up, well, right now, the asking prices could be anywhere from as low as like $22 up to like $90 for a raw copy of this thing. Again, this is a 1 in 50, so it's no small incentive. Like a lot of copies had to be ordered for shops to get this, so this isn't going to be something you're going to find all over the place. That being said, over 1,100 copies, there are copies to be had out there, so, yeah. Just be mindful of it if you're out there hunting it. That's what you're looking for. I mean, you price it how you wish. Whether you want to price it at ratio, as a lot of people do, like a 1 in 50, they kind of price it $50. And if it's above, they'll pay a little extra. Below, they feel like they got a deal. You make that decision for yourself. But this is what's available right now. Anywhere from $22, $25 up to $90 for a raw copy. And if you want to compare it to what's actually been selling, just for that information, one did sell for $22, $25 from the UK. Actually, November 6th. Well, so just a couple of days ago when this video drops. So definitely interesting. And which is going to take us to our next book in this run for Captain America. And it is going to be another Avengers title, but this is just The Avengers. And this is issue 1 of The Avengers. This is the run in 2016 that started with the Alex Ross covers. Issue 2 got hot with that Kang cover, just to give you a sense of like what we're talking about here. But this is issue 1 of that run from 2016 with that newer Avengers team. I think it's volume 7, if I'm not mistaken, maybe volume 8. But This is a 1 in 50 for the 75th anniversary for Captain America, and this 1 in 50 is done by Alex Maleev, who you probably know from his stint on Daredevil there with Brian Michael Bendis. And this one has estimated about 1,600 copies or so for this one. So for this Avengers title. So 1 in 50, that's what we're kind of looking at here for this red, white, and blue Captain America. Again, in the spirit, for Veterans Day, let's look at these Cap books. And if you're shopping for one right now, for this Avengers #1, it can run you anywhere from as cheap as $7.14 up to about $40 with $33 shipping from the UK. So 7 to 70 is kind of like that range right now. Pretty wide, right? The field goal post there, pretty wide open for you to nail that one if you want. So you can get cheap ones, you can get a little bit more expensive ones, but all of them are still basically under ratio, the asking prices at least. If you want to see what this one's actually selling for, even though there are less copies of this one than the last one, there are none. There are none. So wide ranging of offerings out there, but none of it sold in the last 3 months. So not a lot of people are picking up this Alex Maleev. I'm not sure. I mean, I kind of like it. You got the flag there in the background. Pretty interesting look. Red, white, and blue. It's very patriotic. Very patriotic. Which is going to take us to our next book, which is the Steve Rogers Captain America, issue 1. Yes, I know you're looking at it like, why is this thing sideways? Well, it's sideways because that's how they printed it. It's printed sideways, this issue. But to give you a better sense of what we're looking at here, this is Cap punching Hitler a la Captain America 1. So it's kind of a callback to that original Captain America 1 here on Steve Rogers Captain America 1. They had to call this one Steve Rogers Captain America because I believe at the time we both had Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers kind of running at the same time. I know Steve Rogers went by Super Soldier for a little bit, but that's what we're talking about here. This is the Hydra Cap era, so just keep that in mind as well. And this particular cover, this sideways cover, is also, again, like the rest, all 1 in 50s. A Greg Hildebrandt, who you probably know from those Marvel trading cards, the paintings. At least that's how I know the Hildebrandt brothers. I know them from those cards. Just under 2,000 copies of this one, estimated, as far as print run goes. So plenty of copies out there to be had. But even with that higher number than the last two, it's still a pretty pricey book. If you look at what's available, $115 up to $190 asks on this one. That's not a small number for this 1 in 50. So there is a hefty price tag on this one if you are out there shopping. And if you want to see what actually sold for this one did sell for $51 at auction. So much less than the asks, but there aren't a lot to be had. So what's out there is what's out there. So you got to make that decision for yourself, whether you want to buy in or you try to wait it out and hope for a cheaper copy. But that all being said, this next book is still in this same run, still in Steve Rogers Captain America, but issue 3. So a couple of months later, we still get another Captain America 75th anniversary, celebration cover, this time by Joe Madureira. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. I always just say Joe Mad because it's easier, but Joe Mad, 1 in 50, only about 1,300 copies on this one. I do like Joe Mad quite a bit. This one may not be one of his best covers. Not that Cap is not well done, but the background is very, very bland. So it doesn't help pop Cap enough. I think the background on this is just too brown, too hard. It's just too generic for me, for my tastes. It's just not popping him off that cover. That all being said, it's still one I wouldn't mind having because I do like collecting Joe Mad covers. But if you want to see what's available for this one, and I am watching this to kind of make my decision, there's one up for $30. So it's under ratio. I mean, this is, again, 1 in 50. So $30. I'm going to keep an eye on this one. Maybe, if I find myself with an extra few dollars in my pocket, maybe I'll jump and buy one of these. But we'll see. It's not an insta buy, even at that price. And if you want to see what's actually sold recently over the last 3 months, well, we don't have any. So none have sold, only one up. So it's not that easy of a book to find. One might even say I could have put this in the Chasing Ghosts category, and I might have had to determine it a ghost because there's only one up. None have sold. That all said, this 1 in 50 is one it's intriguing. It is intriguing to me. Which is going to take us to our next book, which is Champions #1. Now, I know everybody's a big fan of the Champions these days. You got Ms. Marvel, you got Miles Morales, Sam Alexander Nova, whole new team of young heroes. People are expecting big things out of these guys in the MCU going forward, even though we haven't seen them yet. But Champions is a title that's actually been selling pretty well, all the way up to that 1/100 Alex Ross. But this is a 1 in 50 of that same book. And this is an homage, as you can see. I mean, this is Art Adams doing Mike Zeck, which is pretty cool. And that Mike Zeck cover is that Captain America Annual #8. Classic cover. I know a lot of folks are a big fan of this. I like it as well. I'm happy to have one of these in my collection. But yeah, awesome homage by Art Adams. This 1 in 50. But look at that number. Estimated 6,500 copies of a 1 in 50 incentive variant. You know why that is? That's this way because there were almost 400,000 copies printed of Champions 1. Keep that in mind when you're out there shopping and spending your dollars on Champions 1. There were almost 400,000 copies, 300,000 plus of that issue printed of the regular cover. And then you have all the incentives, all the variants, all that stuff. So this 1 in 50 could potentially have as many as 6,500 copies for a 1 in 50. Kind of crazy to me. But that all being said, that's what it is. And if you want to go see what's actually available, if you wanted to go buy one of these, well, considering there's a lot of copies, you can see it's not that bad. I mean, $40. There's a couple of copies out there for $40. Both from the UK. I thought they were from the same seller at first, but then you looked, actually 2 different listings. But $40, both from the UK, if you want to go buy one. And if you want to see what's actually sold, well, now you can see this thing only $886. 3 bids at auction. Again, from the UK. I guess the UK had a ton of copies of this book for some reason. Maybe they're big fans of the Champions. And then you can see there's a 9/8 signature series that sold for only $127 at 23 bids at auction. I know I say only $127, but this is a 1 in 50. Let's not forget that. 1 in 50, and that's a signature series copy. So who knows what the person paid to get the signature, what they paid to get it graded. All of that goes into it. It's a 1 in 50 to begin with. So how much profit could they have actually pulled out of that book with all of those factors in play? Just saying. A lot of copies of that one out there, which runs contrary to our next book. And our next book is probably the lowest printed of the books that we have here on this, again, list. It's only of 11. There's not a lot of copies. Not a lot of issues in this run of Captain America 75th anniversary covers, but this one is Civil War II Gods of War. It's that mini. This is issue 4, the final issue of the mini. There's a pretty cool, I think it's an E.M. Gist Herc cover on this, but this one is not bad with Bucky, Union Jack, Cap. Pretty cool. This is a Mike Perkins cover, also a 1 in 50, but if you go off the print run numbers, I think there's only like 20,000 or thereabouts copies, so we're only looking at about 416 estimated of the 1 in 50. That is a steep decline off of that 6,500 of the last book. So definitely a lot less of this one out there, and still pretty cool. I mean, you see Big Ben, you got Big Ben, you got the Statue of Liberty. It looks like the Kremlin there for I guess the Winter Soldier. So a pretty cool layout there, pretty cool design for this cover. And if you wanted to go find one of these for yourself, this 75th anniversary for Cap, there are none. So once again, this one might have been a contender for ghosts because not only that, there have been none sold as well. So out of those 400 copies, there's just no copies out there that we can kind of put a market on. So it's up to you. You guys find one out there. You pay what you feel comfortable because the market is wide open. Which will take us to our next book, Old Man Logan, issue 3. And here we have 3 caps. We got Bucky cap, looks like Steve Rogers cap, and we got Sam Wilson cap, all on this cover. Pretty cool. Terry Dodson. I do like Terry Dodson's art, but kind of like the Joe Mad. In this case, just the bland, blank kind of background, it just leaves a little bit to desire. I need a little something, just a little something to help them pop. I know the color helps them pop, but I don't know. It feels like something's missing, personally. But still, only just under 1,200 copies on this one. This 1 in 50 by Terry Dodson. So not a super lot. I mean, not like the 65 of Champions, but Old Man Logan was a popular series as well. But still, only 1,100 copies thereabouts for this one. And if you want to see the prices of what's out there, well, for this one, it's going to be a little pricey. It's $90 to $135 the asks. So well over the ratio, the 1 in 50 ratio for this one. Is it because it's Old Man Logan? Is it because you have 3 caps on the cover? Is it because it's Terry Dodson? I can't tell you which one of the reasons is making this one a little pricier than the rest, but it is. Find that interesting, though, that we're talking about books where some of them are like $7 and some of them are $90 to start. And if we want to see what's actually sold, well, just like a couple of the others, none sold recently. Because I guess, there's not a lot of people looking for this 2016 Captain America 75th anniversary run. It's very, very specific. So if you want to complete it, you got to be a big Captain America fan, or you're just a OCD completionist and you just need everything. I don't think I have any of this run personally. I'd keep an eye out for them if I come across them, but I'm probably not going to be just diving in because, like I said, we're already at the 80th anniversary, so I feel like we're going to get more covers soon. It's just the way the Marvel goes. Taking us to our next book, which is Punisher #1. And you can just tell, just looking at this art, this is obviously John Cassaday. It is also 1 in 50. Punisher #1. Punisher always has restarts. So many volumes of Punisher out there. But this is 2016, as all these books were. A little over 2,200 copies for this Punisher book. If you're so interested, it does harken back a little bit, especially with Cap holding the shield up to that Captain America 1, where Cassaday was the artist. I forget which volume of Cap that was, but it was a few volumes ago now. Definitely cool. And if you want to see what's available, well, this could be had as cheap as $11 from Australia up to about $60. So definitely pretty cheap, up to a little bit over ratio. Wide range to be sure, but it's still surprising that it's only $11 out in Australia, and shipping's only $14. So 25 all in, half ratio, not too bad to get a book from down under. If you wanted this book, that is to say. And if you want to see what this thing actually sells for, well, much like many of the rest, there are no copies. No copies sold in the last 3 months, so we have no market to compare it to for this Punisher book. But interesting. I know it's a little tougher sometimes with some of these covers where the featured character, like Captain America, he's not in this book. Like, this is a Punisher book, but they put him on the cover here anyway. So I get that. It's a little weird sometimes, but that could lead to some very expensive variants if all things meet. All things converge. So if you have like a low printed book, popular covered character, a popular artist, all coming together, sometimes these things could be gold, but other times they could be a little bit more like a lot of people just not biting, not jumping at it. Like, oh, it's great, Black Panther's on the cover of Punisher or something like that. That's not our deal. But it's a J. Scott Campbell or something like that. Then all of a sudden they go rushing. Just saying. And speaking of Campbell, he's going to do the cover of our next book, which is Spider-Man #2. This is the Miles Morales Spider-Man, I believe, when Miles had the Spider-Man title, while Peter Parker was running through Amazing. And issue 2 of Spider-Man, you get this pretty cool Cap cover. Again, there's still just a lot of empty space, even with the fighter jets in the background. The clouds help fill it out, but it still seems like a lot of empty space for me. I just want a little, I don't know. Hey, maybe I'm just being picky. I'm just being picky. It's what I like. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But this Campbell, it's a 1 in 50. There's only about 1,200 copies, which is kind of surprising, even though it's a Spider-Man title. If you want to see what's available on this one, well, it could be as cheap as $33 or as expensive as $110. And that is for a signed copy, that $110. Not a lot of options out there. This was kind of it. But yeah, there are signed copies, obviously, on the market because Campbell does sign plenty of books. And if we want to see what actually sold, I believe the only copy that did sell was also a signed copy by Campbell, but that one only went for $10 at auction. And that was in October 11th, 12 bids, free shipping, $10.50 for this book. I got to say that's a deal. Again, I'm not a huge signature guy, so that's not what would have driven me towards this book, but a 1 in 50 for only $10 with free shipping, I would have been in. I would have considered it. I would have, again, preferred no signature, but that's just me, my personal preference. I think we only got a couple of left. Like I said, there's only 11 books in this run. So our next book is going to be this Spider-Man Deadpool #6. This, I would not have guessed that this was Adam Kubert. Kubert. I can see it a little bit now that I look at like a little bit of the cross-hatching in the faces, but the negative space aspects of this is not something that I've seen him do on the regular, but I kind of like it. So this 1 in 50 Adam Kubert is only about just under 1,300 copies. So again, kind of in that same range as many of the others. And if we want to see what's actually available, if you wanted to go pick one of these up, well, you got a couple of options. You can pay anywhere from $22, $23 up to $80. Yeah, not awful. A little under, a little over ratio. Again, all 1 in 50s. Stores had to order at least 50 copies to get one. And this was pretty much before the days of a lot of store variants. So that those stores that ordered, a store variant didn't get a lot of these incentives, like kind of padded into their stats. But still, different times, I guess, 2016. If you want to see what actually sold for this book, one did sell for just under $30 back in August, though. So this one's going to drop off pretty soon. It was a few months ago, but $28 for this 1 in 50. It's not a bad price. And like I said, it looks kind of cool. I kind of like the negative space on this one, personally. Probably one of my favorites. Probably top three. And what might be my favorite, just because I'm a homer. I'm a bit of an Adam Hughes fan. Our final book is an Adam Hughes cover. I remember seeing this when it came out and not wanting to pay the premium 1 in 50 price. So I didn't at the time. Maybe I should. Maybe I will end up regretting that. But this, again, 1 in 50 Adam Hughes. They really love this orange. Orange yellow is like the theme in all of these covers somehow for this 75th anniversary. But only 758 copies of this one. This is our second lowest print run estimate. If you go after that Gods of War Civil War book, this is the second. Only 758, and it's a Hughes. All right. I mean, Cap kind of is jumping out of all the ladies there, but definitely an interesting cover. And like I said, I know I'd watched this and considered buying this a few times. I don't think I ever did, unless it's buried in a box here somewhere. I don't think I have this one. But I may need to go look because these could be pricey. I mean, look, there's a raw copy up for $250, and then there's a 9.4 that's only 100. I know 9.4. It's like we don't want that, but I'm just saying you might have to consider if you're going to pay $250 for a raw that's probably only a 9.2 to begin with. Why not just get the 9.4 for $100? I guess there's that outside hope that you get in the 9.8, but I don't know. I wouldn't pay that premium if these were the two options in front of me like they are right now. And if you want to check what actually sold, well, despite those prices, what this actual selling price in this thing, from what I could see, is more in that like $50 range. And in this case here, you can see that Hughes sold with the Lego variant as well for $50 together, October 29th. So it's like $50 book, really, when we're talking about what's actually moving out there. And again, that's right at ratio. Still, even though it's a Hughes, I hem and I haul. I want it for less than that, personally, to add it to my collection. I don't need to have everything. I'd like to have it, but I don't need to have it. It is what it is. But that's it. That's our run. 11 books for the 75th anniversary for Captain America, in honor of Veterans Day this week. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think in the comments. This is a series that I do like doing. This is what I kind of made Forgotten Variants into unknowingly. So I had to make a series all of its own, where I just like looking at these variant runs from years past and just kind of going through them, because I like some of them. I don't like some of them. I can afford some. I can't afford them all. I'd like to own them all, but I don't know. I just like looking. So hopefully you enjoy going on these trips with me, looking at these runs of covers, and let me know what you think in the comments. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button, all that fun stuff. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. Check out the merch if you're interested in. And like I said, let me know some covers that you want to see. Let me know some of the runs that you want to see next. I try to mix DC in. I don't want to just be a Marvel channel, but you guys don't seem to be taking a lot to these DC covers and DC books when I bring them out there. So I'm looking at the viewer numbers, and a lot of people just aren't viewing the DC stuff these days. I don't know if it's just the state of DC at the moment, or if it's just a general dislike for some of the characters. Like, nobody gives a crap about Aquaman. I don't know what it is. But again, hopefully you're enjoying the series, and in honor of Veterans Day, Captain America covers. Should have a few more things coming at you this week. So I will see you guys soon.